Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. I'm really excited to be here with you. My name's Molly Guile, and I'm an independent consultant and executive national vice president with Arbonne in Reno, Nevada. And one of the reasons I'm excited is because I'm joined by the most awesome ENVP, Beth Malcook in Madison, Wisconsin, or Oregon, Wisconsin, I should say, to just be super accurate. But Beth is really gifted in meeting with people and meeting one-on-one and doing the coffee appointment. She has some great verbiage, and I know that you guys can learn a lot from her today, no matter where you're at in this business. One of the things that I want to say before we start off is I think that sometimes we go and we say, I'm doing Arbonne and I'm meeting this person for coffee and I'm meeting that person for coffee, but we go there without very specific intention, or we go there and we have a little bit of fear in our heart. We don't want to be too pushy. We don't want to, make assumptions. We don't want to, think that it's going to turn out one way or another. We just kind of want to see what happens and let them lead the show. I guess that's what I'm saying. Let them lead the show. That is not the purpose of a coffee appointment, you guys. And you can go have coffee appointments like that, but that does not, you may not count that as one of your, rolling 15 income producing activities for Arbonne, because that is not going to produce any kind of outcome that you want. So we're really here to help you today to meet the goals of the coffee appointment, which is number one, really connecting with the person and understanding how Arbonne might be a fit for them. Number two is listening with your Arbonne ear, where they're saying, I need Arbonne, and you can make this about them. And number three, walking away with knowledge of what the next step is. Either that person is going to use some product, they're going to purchase product, maybe they're going to sample product, they're going to definitely buy some product and host a show for you because they want to see more about what you do, or they're ready to start a business. So those are your goals, and I'm going to turn it over to Beth because she has really the best process and verbiage to help you meet those three goals. So thanks for joining me, Beth, and I'm super excited to pass to you.
I'm excited to be here with you, Molly. I get to actually physically be with you in a couple weeks, which is really exciting. So I want to kind of piggyback on everything that Molly just said, because I think so much of this business is not just about doing it and checking it off your list. It's about being intentional with it. And, we can do a lot and think we're doing a lot, but until we get super intentional in our business with what, and focus on what we're really looking to do, which is to sponsor, and not just sponsor anybody, you guys, but sponsor people of quality, people that we qualify into this business, people that will light a fire under us, people that will be evidence for us of what is possible, and get us on our toes and raise the bar and be, what I love about people that come into this business who we qualify, they're the ones that are not, soon when that becomes a pattern or a practice that you're intentional with, it is no longer the exception, it becomes the rule. So I piggyback on everything she just talked about. We can't make assumptions for people. That's why we want to give people the choice. And in our heads, we can't say, well, they live far away, or they already have several jobs, or they're already super successful, or they have 5 kids. Like, there's a person in Arbonne at the top of this company who is killing it in all one of those categories. And the only reason they're in Arbonne and the only reason that they're excelling is because somebody gave them a choice. So do not make assumptions for people, because it's not about you. I want you to remember that. And when you sit down with people to talk about this business, it's not about you. There's never the perfect question. You don't have to have all the answers. You're not supposed to anyways. None of us do. It's about opening up your heart and building relationship with people. And I will tell you, if you do this and you do this with intention, you probably will find yourself saying to people, I don't think this is a fit for you once in a while. And if you have never said to somebody, I don't know that this is a fit for you, I want you to think about why that is. Is it just that you've not sat down and had enough one-on-ones, or is it that you'll literally take a pulse into your organization? Because honest to heavens, you guys, this business is not a fit for everyone. But there's this fine balancing act between not making assumptions and offering and really listening with an intentional ear, and also not convincing, okay? So that's where these two come together, and it's called qualifying. So I want to talk about this a little bit. When you sit down with somebody over coffee, and you know, it's always going to be a different circumstance. Arbonne is not a cookie cutter anything. So maybe they've come to a presentation before. Maybe they've been a preferred client for a while. Maybe not. Maybe they've not used the products. Like, you are going to know, you know, the situation yourself. It's personal, and you'll know how to approach it. But I'm going to use kind of an example of, I'm going to say somebody I've met maybe at a presentation, and I sent them with a SoundCloud to listen to or a curiosity packet. I like to do that so they at least have a foundation of what this business is about, because when I sit down with them, it's really about them. It's not about Arbonne, the comp plan, and all that, because I want to build a relationship with them. So what happens is, you know, when I sit down with people, it's 80% listening and data collection, and it's 20% maybe me talking, answering their questions. Because what I'm doing is I'm looking and listening to see if there is a need or they have a desire for change. And so when you listen, and I mean really listen, not just listen and in your head trying to figure out a comeback or something you're going to say that's perfect in response to what they're saying. You guys, don't do that. But really listen with your heart and take it all in. You have begun a relationship of trust, and you will know their whys, and you build connection. And the bottom line is, you can see how Arbonne may be the vehicle to their dreams and express that. But if you don't listen, you don't have that information, and you can't make that statement, okay? So here's kind of what I do. And these are some of the questions I ask when I sit down with somebody, and whether it's over Skype or a phone call or in person. And really that helped them uncover three things. And I stole this from Carlita Nelson, so I take no credit. Anything that brilliant comes out of my mouth is never really from my mouth. I'm a good copycat, right? So everything I'm going to share with you is just what works for me, that I've learned from somebody who, you know, I want their business and I want to be like them. I want to be a great leader. So the three things I ask to kind of help them uncover, questions I ask around are their dreams, their desires, and their discontents. So the first thing I start off when I sit down with somebody is just to thank them. I mean, have gratitude. You guys, have gratitude for everything in this business, because it's all voluntary, right? When people host for us or they have coffee with us, we live in a busy world and they're taking time out. So I get there early, I get them coffee, you know, I'm prepared. I'm not a hot mess running in. I'm prepared and intentional. So when I sit down with them, I'm relaxed, and I can just say, thank you for meeting with me. And I want to start off by just saying, this business is not a fit for everyone, and I'm not going to try to convince you today to do Arbonne, because this is a business of discernment. And my goal here is just to get to know you better and to answer your questions to help you decide if this might be for you, if this might be a vehicle for you to achieve your own goals and your dreams. And then I'll kind of just ask them an open-ended question, like, can you tell me a little bit about yourself? And some people, this is easy and they'll just tell you everything. And then for some people, they just kind of struggle a little with the conversation. So I might just kind of prompt them a little bit by asking about, you know, their family or where they live or what they like to do for fun. You know, what is it they do for a job, and just kind of help them with that conversation. Remember, I'm data collecting, not thinking about what I'm going to say next. I'm listening. And then I'll ask them, you know, what is it that you love about what you do? I'm going to tell you something. If you ask somebody what they do and they tell you and you make a face and go, oh my gosh, it must be horrible or stressful or awful, they will physically puff up and their feathers will get, that like shield, and they will not open up to you, because even if they don't like what they do, you kind of just judged it and told them why it must be hard or whatever. So if you're like, I bet you love that, or I bet you're really great at that, they will tell you every reason why they don't love it, because they're not on the defensive. So the fourth thing I like to ask is, is there anything you don't like? And sometimes I'll say, is there anything you don't like about, what you're currently doing? Or is there anything that you have discontent with in your life? And they'll answer that. And that might lead itself into different conversations as well, but just listen. And the other thing I really like to ask as well is, have you ever thought of owning your own business? Somewhere in this conversation, I want to ask them that, because what is the statistic? Like 73% of Americans, and I'm not obviously talking about just Americans, I'm talking about the world, but this is the statistic, that they have thought about owning something. And I think it's always interesting, and you could even ask why. And they'll probably bring in, well, I'd love more time and freedom, and I'd love to be in control of something. And I think it's also interesting when people will say, well, I've thought about doing network marketing before, or I've looked at different opportunities, and you can ask them, well, why did you rule them out? So you guys, this is just data collection. I really like to ask them too, what kind of income would help them monthly to have more freedom, flexibility, and choice. And sometimes people really don't know, you guys, and so I might give an example. Like before I started Arbonne, I thought, gosh, if I had an extra $500 a month to put away for a safety net in case our car broke down, or for my kids' education, or in a vacation fund, whatever it is that they tell you, that's theirs. You have to respect it, whatever it is, because you might have met me and I might have said $200, because that's what I would have told you in the beginning of my business. And $200 to me might be $2,000 to you, but it was equally important and it needed to be respected. So when they tell me that, I'll just say, what would you do with it? Like, I want to sink some emotional teeth into what they want, because probably it's been a long time since somebody's ever asked them what they wanted. And I want them to emotionally think about what they would do with it, because I want Arbonne to be that vehicle for them to see that that's possible. I also like to think out a little vision. I do a little vision work with people. Like, if they could design their life in 3 to 5 years, if time and money weren't an issue or a restraint, what would that look like? And when they tell me, I like to be kind of bold and say, are you on track right now? If you keep doing what you're doing, will you get there? Mm-hmm. And then what I do is I kind of pull this all together. So I've been data collecting. I haven't been trying to put this, I'm not, this is an authentic way that I'm listening, but I'm kind of pulling it together. I want them to know that I'm listening to them. So I would say, Molly, what I gather from this conversation, and tell me if I'm wrong, what I heard you say is that you love what you do, but you really miss your kids, and you don't feel like you're getting paid what you're worth. And it sounds to me like you're not sure quite yet if you've tapped into your greatest purpose. And tell me if I'm right or wrong about this. And they'll tell you, right? And I would say, can I take 3-4 minutes to tell you a little bit about my background and my story? And then I'll share with them kind of my story and about what intrigued me about this business opportunity. And I will always make a point of talking about time leverage. Because no matter what, that is, people can make money, you guys, different ways, but that is the one thing that is so unique to this industry that will give time back to people. And some people come in and they don't need money in this business. They come in because they need time, and they need to know that they're going to get it back. So I share my why, I share my vision, I share what Arbonne's done for me, but more importantly, I share what it's also done for other people. So that they don't think I'm just the anomaly. And I want them to know that there's all different types of people in this business who are successful with all different backgrounds. And the thing that they hold together that's the same is that they have a work ethic and they've always had a vision. And so I want them to leave this conversation feeling confident that I can help them with their dreams and their goals. And I would encourage you to be bold with that and look people in the eyes and say, I know I can help you. I know I can help you with this, this, and this that you talked about today. And then lastly, what I'll do is I'll ask them if they have more questions. And they might have specific questions about Arbonne. How do you get paid? Tell me about the products. What is your system for success? How do you train? How do you mentor? Tell me about the people involved. Answer their questions. And then ask them at the kind of when you're closing up, Molly, here's what I love to ask people. So I know how to serve you, and where we can go next with this is I want to know if you're what I would call a 1, 2, or a 3. A 1 is somebody who, after everything we've talked about today, you might be someone who said, these products sound great. I'd love to share this information. It's valuable with other people, but I don't think that this is a fit for me. And that's okay. That's okay. If that's you, I would just ask if somebody's name popped into your head or your heart while we talked today, that you would pay it forward and offer them this opportunity. If there are two, I would say if you're two, maybe you're intrigued and but you want to get to know a little bit more. Maybe there's questions I didn't answer for you today, and you would need maybe a little bit more exposure or to think a little bit more and get some answers. But maybe in the interim, you'd want to get some friends together to share this incredible information and the products. Or maybe you're three, you're like, I get it. Like, I'm ready to go. Tell me what I need to do next. So I'll ask them, are you a 1, 2, or a 3? And oftentimes people will say they're a 2.5 or 2.7 and honestly, you guys, if they're sitting with me right there and they're like, I'm a 2.5 or 2.8, I'll say, okay, let's talk since we're here right now and I want to respect your time. What would you need to know to move you from a 2.8 to a 3? Like, what's on your heart? What is your hesitations? Talk to me a little bit. And they'll open up and I can address them right there. You guys, it takes time to bring people's schedules together. So if they're a 2.5 or a 2.8, obviously you're going to get something scheduled with them, but ask them right then and there. If they're not a 1.5, right? What is it that I can answer for you yet today that's left unsettled that we can talk about right now while we have each other? And then, when they're a 3, because I'm just going to say when they're a 3, you have to kind of be aware of the time and how that conversation's going. I've had 3-hour coffee appointments with people because I've really gotten to know them well. And they're like, I'm ready to go. Let's rock and roll right now. In fact, yesterday we had a woman come do a Discover Arbonne. She sat down, kind of a one-on-one. She was like, I'm a 3. They got her signed up. They got her start order in. They were looking at dates. They gave her some homework and set a follow-up call with her today, 24 hours later. To review her contact list, to talk about who she wants to work with, all that stuff. So, Molly might want to add something to that. But if someone is a 3, they will always, if I don't do a getting started with them there, they will always leave with something to get them focused on what they want and how they're going to get it. And they're going to have a getting started call to listen to or something to move them forward. I'm not just going to be like, see you later. Like, we're on it now. Like, we're going to set them up to succeed. So, Molly, was there anything else that you wanted me to talk about?
No, I think that's awesome. And you guys, on the people who are a 3, I think sitting with them or staying with them and getting them, registered right away and showing them the website and showing them how simple it is a great idea. If it's not at that very moment, like I can't really imagine a scenario where you can't kind of make that happen unless, you're on the phone with someone or, even if you're on Zoom, you guys, now you can pull up, you can share your screen so you can walk someone through how to sign up online. Let's pull our screen up together and I'm going to let you do it. You don't need to see their information and they can sign up right there. Right. I think the only thing I would add, Beth, is that, my question to you would be, how did you get good at this? And I already know the answer. Practice. The reason why Beth is so skilled at this is because she does a lot. When she does a group presentation, she doesn't walk away without scheduling at least one coffee appointment with someone. When she's out and about and meeting people, she's on purpose about, I'd like to get to know you better. Kristen Walter is also a master at this. I want to get to know you better. Let's meet. Let's talk. I think you might be good at what I do. Mm-hmm. And, you have people that come onto your heart and you on purpose get them on a video conference or get them on a call with someone. You have them listen to a call and get them on a call with someone. I think the key thing, you guys, is when you do this and you walk away with a next step, whether they're a 1, a 2, or a 3, you feel successful. Right. Because not everyone is going to say yes. I think everyone can benefit from using our products. Still, not everyone is going to say yes. But if you can get the majority of the people to that point, you're going to feel successful. And Right. Then you also know in your head what the next step is you want to take with them. Absolutely. I had a girl today. She'd been talking to someone for a really long time. She's asked her to join her business twice. She finally invited her to a Zoom presentation. The other people didn't show up, so it was more like a one-on-one. But she said, you know what, I really want to practice this, and I really want your feedback. And so She went ahead, did her presentation. The girl ended up buying a healthy living package and starting the 30-day program. And she felt successful with that and said, you know what? I know that that's the first step. I know she's going to be in my business. I see her in my business. I see this, but sometimes you guys, it's a process and you have to be okay with that. On the other hand, you know, she asked her if she was a 1, 2, or a 3. And if she was a 3, she was going to start her today. She wasn't going to go, well, let's get her on the products. Let's have her do the 30-day. That's not an effective way to run your business. And so I think Beth and I both just hope that this is helpful for you to be more on purpose and to walk away from these one-on-one appointments going, I know my next step. And I feel like, you know, even though it wasn't perfect, because remember, we always say perfection is not duplicatable. It leads to control, it leads to inaction, and it leads to doubt. And doubt will kill more dreams than fear ever will. So we want you guys to be confident and courageous and really listen and serve people in the Arbonne way, you know, that we teach and train all the time. You guys, there are so many servant leaders who are going to watch this video. And again, our goal is just to serve you. So Beth, do you want to say anything else and we'll close?
No, I just think the more you ask, the more appointments you're going to get, and the more appointments you have, and the more you just listen, the more confident you're going to be that you're going to hear things that you can make a difference in people's lives. And the less you focus on yourself and the more you focus on meeting the needs of other people, the more lives you're going to change, because you're just going to get out of your own way. And that's how you become a good listener, when you're not desperate, because you don't have to be. And when you have a lot of sponsoring in your business, you are able to have grace with people, and you don't get discouraged, because you've got width and you've got growth, and you're bringing in people that really set the bar for evidence, because you know they're looking for something and changing. You know that Arbonne can be that vehicle. So just be confident and be convicted about what you can offer people, because whether you know this or not, you matter, and you have the power to change not one life, not 2 lives, not 100 lives, but 1,000,000 lives through your influence and your platform. So just happy to be able to share with you guys today. And thanks for inviting me, Molly. I learned so much from you.
I always learn from you, my friend. It's a joy and a pleasure. You guys, thanks. And go grow, go serve, and go have fun. All right. Love you. Bye.
Bye.